Shane from Omni Technologies. Today we're going to be taking a look at how to assign a time zone to a card reader within Lenel OnGuard software. We're going to be using the system administration application in order to do this. In a previous video we looked at how to create a time zone, and today we're going to be taking it a step further and looking at one of the applications, how to use that, using it to control a door. So to get started, I'm going to go ahead and log into System Administration. And in order to get to the area we're going to be assigning time zones to readers, we're going to be going to the Access Control menu and selecting time zones. You can also use the time zone shortcut on the toolbar below the menus if you prefer that route. But once we get into the time zones section, you're going to see the 4 tabs: holidays, time zones, time zone reader modes, and time zone area modes. For what we're doing today, we're going to jump to time zone reader modes. As you can see on our system, we've got no assignments. For the system we're working on, we don't have anything currently assigned. So one thing that commonly trips people up here is you would expect that you would be adding a new assignment, but what you're going to see down here on the lower left is the add button is actually grayed out. So I get questions on this sometimes, and so I'll admit it is a little confusing, but how you need to look at this window is it's basically one large group, more similar to an axis level actually, where you're just adding different associations within the group. So really all you can do at this point is you can click modify. Once you click modify, it's going to bring up the list of card readers on your system and the different time zones that you can use. So really, what is a time zone reader mode association? There's a couple things going on here. One, we have to pick what card reader. Which one are we going to be working with? So in order to do that, you just select it from the list. When you click on it, you're going to get a little check mark on it. It will only let you do one at a time. So get the one that you want to make the association with, so it's got the check mark on it. The next required thing is you have to tell it what time zone. During what hours do you want this thing to be changing reader modes? So it makes sense you would need to have your time zone created first. So for our purposes, we're going to be using this test unlock time zone just for demonstration purposes. So we've got the first two things ready to go here. The next question is, well, what modes do you want this thing to be going into? You're changing the mode of the reader. Sometimes people will make a mistake of thinking in terms of the lock. When we look at the reader modes, where this comes into play is usually people that are newer to the system, is when they're looking to secure the door at the end of the schedule, they'll think, well, I want the door to be locked, so I'm going to put it into locked. But again, you're looking at reader mode, different reader modes, not in terms of the lock, but what mode are you putting the reader into. Locked mode on a card reader will actually prevent people from getting in with their cards. The reader is locked, not the door. So I would say for 95% of examples, what people are generally trying to do with a schedule is they want the door to unlock at the beginning of a time zone, and then they want the door to return to secure mode at the end. So let's just assume that's the case for what we're doing. We're going to say at the beginning of our time zone, we want the door to be unlocked. So we're going to say start reader mode is unlocked. And then what mode do you want it to fall back into when that time zone is done? One key thing here is you do have to understand what type of card reader you have. I'd say most often it's going to be card only, but if the card reader has a keypad on it, then you need to know what is the normal online operating mode of the keypad reader. Is it card and PIN, which is basically using a two-factor authentication where you have to present your card and a valid PIN, Or is it PIN or card, where either or will grant you access to the door? For our purposes, we're just going to say this is a regular card reader, so we want it to fall back into card-only mode. And at this point, I've got all the selections made that I need. So you're going to be looking over at the right side here. Think of this as your group of card readers, with time zone assignments. So what you're doing is you're taking all the selections you just made, and you're going to assign it to this window. So I'm going to click this right facing arrow, and it puts it over into my reader assignments group. And you can move these columns around so you can see things better. But I would recommend looking through this before you save it to make sure you got everything right. Is this the right reader? Is that the right time zone? Right mode for the beginning? Is it the right mode for the end? That's pretty much it. There are a couple other options. First card unlock is really the only other one I'll talk about. If you're going to use first card unlock, what is that feature? We'll talk more about that in a different video, but that's for periods of time where nobody comes into the building. Do you want the door to actually unlock if no one comes in? So you can enable this feature. There's a couple requirements. If you use first card unlock, you actually would put the start mode of card only, and then you would check that box. What it does is at the beginning of the time zone, it doesn't just unlock, it goes into first card unlock mode. And then we'll sit there and wait for somebody to badge through. So you don't want to just turn it on unless you've got the right procedures in place, or you're going to end up with a door that doesn't unlock. And besides this, there are other requirements. So again, I'll cover that in a separate video. But if you're setting that up with your time zone association, this is where you would enable it. One note on time zone reader associations, they are on a weekly recurring basis. They are also stored within the controller memory in your panel, which means if the panel loses communication with the server for some reason, if your network link gets broken or server goes offline, this will continue to work. It is not server dependent. So that's it for this example. I hope this helped you. When you're done, you just click OK, and that will save it to your panel. So I hope this helped. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.